Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 25 of Direwolf20's OmniFactory series, where today I'm making another Emmy drive because I've made an Emmy fluid storage component, which I can use to store Emmy fluids. Well, fluids in the Emmy system. Let's be a little bit more accurate with that description. Fair? Fair. You can also see that I started the process of cleaning up some dire wire, which I figured everybody would be super happy to see, right? Yay, dire wire cleanup. So I've totally got zoinks, some stuff there. That guy's going to play a role at some point in the future, I'm sure. Got another Emmy drive here, all of which is going in. And now he just needs power, so we can just run this dude straight across. Boop, boop. Cool. Nice. So these things are getting a little bit full. A little bit. So we want to be a little bit careful and cognizant of that. I did teach the thing between episodes. Can you make like 2 more of these, you think? You need some glass. So I need to get smelting going on. Like, what are my options for smelting? Is there a machine that smelts? Is there not a smelter in GregTech? Or am I missing something? Like, is that not a thing that exists? Does GregTech not have a smelting machine? Like a furnace or something like that? There is the basic electric furnace. Okay, well now we're talking. All right, and there's the advanced electric furnace. Looks reasonable. Looks reasonable. Should we get one of them? I'm going to only assume advanced electric furnace. I'm going to add to the list of to-dos. I can only assume that we're going to need a couple copper wire. I feel like I'm always looking for more copper wire and never have enough of it. Maybe I'm crazy. Well, no, I know that. I know I'm crazy. You don't have to answer that question. Please don't, actually. But, you know. Then we just need an MV machine housing hole thingy, which should be pretty straightforward to make. A little bit of aluminum plates. They're nice and quick. Crafting, crafting. Nice. MV machine hole. So look, advanced electric furnace. Cool. Can I have another interface? That would be cool. Should probably ask for more than one, but yeah. See, look, all the auto crafting going on. Aren't you guys excited that I set that up? How you doing? I might want to move you because I feel like I almost always have the first thing on a line be that guy. So like, I might want to just move you an inch. Right? There's no reason not to, per se. Right? So your sidedness will be such that, what if we did this? Because I think we've got some more orange conduiting up here, right? Yeah, we totally have some orange. So you can be blue there, and you're still outputting on that side. Not that you need to set output, but it just makes it so that, like, it's definitely output, right? So that should be cool. I don't think you need to make it output. Point is, it's cool. Alright, so then you can go here. Our basic electric furnace can go here. So how fast do you smelt things? That's a question, right? Sand, do we have any dust that could be smelted right now? I mean, we might somewhere, right? Sulfur, I don't know, beryllium, do you smelt? Sure, let's get one of you. I'm just curious how fast this thing, processes. We'll probably also want to hook up you on this direction. Extract always active. That is cool. It's pretty quick. Ain't bad. Interface ready yet? Yes, you are. Cool. So glass is basically going to be, as usual, regular old sand turns into glass. Nice. I guess the package just hides all the different smelting options because there's a lot of them. That would be my guess. Right? So we can throw you in there and you'll just cook up a bunch of glass and you should be pulled out. Yay! Perfect. Cool. So this guy is going to chill here. You're going to make a couple more 4Ks for me, right? 2 more 4Ks? Thank you. And I'd also like you to make 2 of these. I haven't made the crafting recipe. You know what? Make me another interface, too. Look at it all. Look at all the crafting. If I can pull off all that, then I can do anything. So you've got a fluid storage cell, right? So I could come over to this guy And I could say something like, hey, diluted sulfuric acid. I should be able to interact. I very rarely played with fluids, but that seems to have worked, right? And I'm assuming that went into here. 1 of 5 types. So each Emmy fluid storage cell can store 5 types, which is kind of cool. I wonder if you can limit it and be like, I don't want any more than X, right? And now there's also the storage bus, right? Is that what it's called? Is there an Emmy fluid storage bus? There is. You need an Emmy fluid interface and an electric pump. That's the thing that's annoying to make. Wah, wah, wah. That's not terrible. I already made lapis plates between episodes, but that's the thing that's also annoying to make. Lapis plates were just lapis blocks in the cutting saw. So I made that between episodes because I needed that for this dude. This dude needed a lapis plate. So that's craftable for sure. But we're going to totally want to be careful about where we put things. Right? We will totally want to be careful about how we do that. Because we could totally take a tank. Right? Not painted. Nothing special. You're empty, right? Nothing in you. We could run some Emmy conduiting over here, and we could totally pull the polyethylene out of this thing, put it in here, and Emmy storage bus it. Or we could pull it into this dude, right? Now this can hold 5 types, right? So that's a thing we're going to want to keep cognizant of. I wonder if we put this thing in one of those whatchamacallits. I'm assuming it will limit how much fluid can go into each one. I think I could filter which fluid goes in, right? But I don't think I could filter how much fluid's allowed to stay in. So what I'll probably do to start, do we have an import bus? Yeah, we should probably do that. Import bus. Do we have an fluid import bus? So that's a piston with a couple of those. That ain't bad. I should be able to pull that off, right? So let me make this real quick off camera and we'll be right back because I just have to wait for the MV piston to craft. Cool. All right, so here's the deal. Are you gonna work? Yes, it's working. Polyethylene getting piped into fluid system. Sweet. Sweet. 9 bytes used. So I guess each byte is a bucket? That's not bad. So you can store 1024 buckets in there. That ain't terrible. So we can actually store a healthy amount of polyethylene, right? So now I wonder if I can amend my patterns to include fluids. Is that a thing we can do? Can I say, hey, put a certain amount of fluid in here as part of the pattern recipe? I would imagine that has to be part of this, right? Like that's a thing we could do. There's a fluid interface, which, like I said, is not terrible. Just needs an electric pump, which I should at some point be auto-crafting anyway. Let me think for a few minutes and figure out how to auto-craft with fluids. So guys, I did a bit of reading because I had hoped there was a good way to do this. And unfortunately, there doesn't really seem to be a good way to do this. There's a fluid molecular assembler, basically. There's some kind of fluid assembler. Fluid from applied. There's a fluid interface. P2P tunnels for fluids. Yeah, I don't think fluids work in AE the way I was hoping they would. So I think what we're going to have to do is stick to what we were doing before, unfortunately. Which is a bummer. Yeah, it's a bummer. But it is what it is, right? So I'm going to undo this a little bit. I did a little bit of off-camera work for this, but not the end of the world, right? So can I do that? What if there's a bucket in the system? Can I do that? Yeah, you don't work super good, do you? I'm sorry to say it, but I do think Refined Storage does a slightly better job with their fluid handling. But this is a new feature of the mod, to be fair. So hopefully they get better in time. But for now, I don't think there's a way for me to create a crafting process that says, hey, put 144 millibuckets into this machine when you go to craft something. I was hoping I'd be able to do that. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So what I'm going to do is continue creating polyethylene sheets the way I have been, right? I was going to try it out, but it ain't going to work, so trust me on that, right? So we'll just keep doing this the way we have been, right? You're going to do that, and you're going to get your polyethylene, and you're going to be cool, right? And then all the polyethylene sheets will do what we were doing over here, basically. And for anything, we're basically probably going to need 2 of these fluid extractor and assembly machines to handle when we need to use polyethylene as a sheet versus as a liquid. That's what we'll have to wind up doing. So I think what I'm going to do real quick is update this pattern. Now, it was really the capacitors that needed the... Wasn't it capacitors? Or it was the diodes? I don't know. Right? But I'm going to update this guy to be the new ones. Remember, tin ingot is the extra thing that we need to throw in there. Right? So if I do that, you still need a tin ingot, but you can do this. Right? That's cool. So that should make that crafting a little bit cheaper. Now, does this one have an equivalent dude? Right? So let's see if this guy can upgrade. He can. Cool. And he also needs a tin ingot, right? 1 tin? Yes. Nice. All right, cool. See, this is what I was talking about. You get better and better at certain things, right? If you spend the time to implement what you need to implement. Now, that's also 1 tin ingot. So that's also going to be somewhat cheaper. Hey. Cool. Because you get the SMD transistors and capacitors. That's better, right? I like that. That's cool. We'll see if we run into a problem, but that should be overall a little bit cheaper for our crafts. Neat. All right. So now that we've got these things taken care of, tin ingot, and that guy also has a tin ingot, just making sure. Let's check out. Let's claim all the rewards from some of the quests we did. See, I'm not sure if I love the whole Emmy fluid system, but to be fair, it's brand new to the mod, so that's fair. Right, so chlorine, you can get it from electrolyzing salt, among other sources. So we do have some salt somewhere, rock salt. So if I electrolyze you, will I get chlorine? I do, look at that. How cool is that? So I could just go pop you into an electrolyzer, right? And you'll make chlorine over here for me. Well, thank you, Chief. That was easy peasy, wasn't it? And now I can make polyvinyl chloride sheets. Ethylene plus chlorine makes vinyl chloride. Vinyl chloride and oxygen makes polyvinyl chloride. What's that do? Oh, we're going to find out, I guess. It'll eventually be used to make plastic circuit boards, which are apparently a good board. And you can also use it to make thin polyvinyl chlorides. Do I want to do this right now, or do I want to work more on infrastructure? Because I don't know exactly what that's going to get me. How hard is it to just like craft this and get the quest complete so that we can see what comes next? Polyvinyl chloride sheet. Alloy smelter, cutting saw, extruder. So what would be involved in making you? So it's vinyl chloride plus oxygen, right? And vinyl chloride is ethylene and chlorine times 2 in a chemical reactor. That's not so bad. If I got a few buckets, I could knock this out. And then we'll decide if we're going to need to automate it, right? Because that's the real question. Do we need to automate this bad boy? I really, really, really should look into... we have an advanced electrolyzer up here, which is cool, right? We should actually have a little bit of oxygen hanging out, which is also cool. So am I not mistaken in thinking that it was 2 of these makes vinyl chloride, ethylene, and 2 chlorine? And ethylene I should be able to get. Not polyethylene, ethylene. Right? Yes, ethylene, not polyethylene. Cool. Okay. And that needs to go in a 30 EU a tick chemical reactor, which I think we've got upstairs, one of those. Yep, a basic one exists. Cool. So 1, 2, and 1 of you should combine, right? And then that gets us vinyl chloride. which we can combine to make polyvinyl chloride with oxygen for 30E would tick. Cool. So you're cooking vinyl chloride and hydrochloric acid. Vinyl chloride and oxygen combine. And then you would want to go into, not a fluid extractor assembly machine, but you would want to go into polyvinyl chloride fluid solidifier. Thought I had one of those. I do. We'll want the ingot form of the thing, right? Polyvinyl chloride, fluid solidifier, mold ingot. That's what we want. So we've got mold block and mold gears. We want mold ingot. So it's going to be, I think it's a hammer and a screwdriver, right? Hammer and file. Hammer and file. Cool. And then you need a hammer underneath you. Cool. Mold ingot. Fluid solidifier. Yes. And then we'll just get our conduits just to get it transferred over there, right? Fluid solidifier. There's your chemical reactor, right? So what I'm going to do is triple click these guys. You're going to be insert. Disconnect that stuff because we don't want any of that happening. And then you should go into there and make nice polyvinyl chlorides. Cool. I feel like I should do another one just so we can use up the last of the stuff. So let me get another. So that's hydrochloric acid. There are so many things. There are so many things. Chlorine, and oxygen, and one more ethylene, right? Chlorine. That's supposed to be oxygen. We'll hang on to our extra chlorine bucket then. And then you, sir, I need to borrow one of those. Cool. So let's just rehash this, right? It's oxygen and vinyl chloride, 1 ethylene, 2 chlorine. 1 ethylene, vinyl chloride? Wait, what? Why did you go in there? Oh, I see. We need more oxygens. I got it. So the math is a little bit rough on oxygen. Got it. Okay, that's not terrible, right? Because then you can just do that, and you're going to get... Okay, back in a few. I'm going to process all that. Boy, I hope this math works out. I sense it probably won't, though. Yeah, I feel like 136 is not going to be good. But we'll find out. So this is the last of the oxygen combiners, right? Worst case, I can just, break the block. Yeah, see? Nope. Nope. I have to nope up hard on that guy. Thank you. And then you can go back in there like that, wherever you were. And then, how'd you make out over here, buddy? Oh, not too bad. Alright, so I'm going to clean up all this mess. So we completed that quest, whatever that's useful for. I'm sure the quest book will guide me. I'm glad I have this quest book telling me how to play this pack, because boy, is there some complicated stuff in here. Like, no joke. Real quick. How you doing? Are you done? I better eat something. And you're done as well. Are you cool? Are you done exporting your fluids? I can only imagine you are. Right, which means you're empty again. We'll probably use him for something later, just not now, because it doesn't work the way I thought it would, so it's not useful for me at this moment. Right? Polyvinyl, poly something chloride sheet. which can hopefully go in the compressor. I think it had to go through the extruder, didn't it? Ta-da! Nice. All right, claim reward. So that we've completed a lot of this section, right? HV machine holes is definitely something to come up with next, and then all this stuff, whatever this leads to. But that's a whole lot of fluid processing that I'm a little afraid to get into just yet. What I think I'd like to work harder on right now is probably infrastructure. I think what I should really be focusing on is making sure all my auto crafting infrastructure is in place correctly so that we can proceed down into some deeper depths of automation and stuff, right? Because right now, like, we're not in great shape. We're not in bad shape, but we're also not in great shape, right? We're better off than we were a couple episodes ago. Also, I want to take a quick peek over at my auto miner. Can we go take a look at that guy real quick to see how he's doing? So I'm just curious how well he's done between episodes. He's been running for a while. He's probably out of power. That's absolutely probably what's happened. He's probably run out of power. And if he's not, he's got to be low. Wow, he's actually not even low or out of power. What? So he's down at Y level 31. He's collected a decent amount of ores for us. Not quite as much as I would have hoped for, but that's all right. This vein was mostly mined out by me already, to be fair. Right? But yeah, you can see he's done a pretty good job of clearing stuff out. You know what? His range isn't that great. Even with the 3 boosters on it, it doesn't reach that far. But he'll go all the way down, which is good. I just have to find, like, a vein I haven't mined a ton of yet, and that would probably be smart. I figured out what polyvinyl chloride needs. That's how we make the SMD capacitor, which is the one thing that we haven't fixed up yet. So I went to make something and I realized that's what's up, right? So if I put you back in here and recipe you back to this guy, and you still need 1 tin, don't forget. My bad. Hey, these things look the same, right? So if I want 10 more patterns now, are we cool? Now we're still missing SMD capacitors. So I think that's the last piece. It's funny that that's not a quest, though. Unless it's a quest. Oh, no, it is. I just missed it somehow in the quest book. So SMD capacitor, you need polyvinyl. Oh, we needed the polyvinyl. That's why we didn't see it yet. So we need that polyvinyl chloride stuff. Okay. So let's get those crafted, because I think, again, that's going to save me trouble down the line. But it's definitely going to require more infrastructure configurations, right? Like, we need to set that up a little bit better. And then the tin. Luckily, they don't look too bad to craft, right? So polyvinyl sheets. Thin polyvinyl chloride sheets is a cluster mill with the polyvinyl, and that makes 4, right? So let's pattern this up. Cool. And then if we want the SMD capacitor, the one that we don't have yet, we're also going to need aluminum foil. Now, do we have aluminum foil already? We do. So that's cool, right? So we get you added to the cluster mill. Now, the trick with this is, though, and this is what I learned by watching and paying attention a little bit, it's 36 millibuckets of polyethylene. So guess how many that is for the 144 that you get from a plastic sheet. 4. So we need 16 polyvinyl chloride sheets and 4 aluminum foils, right? And then we're going to need 1 polyethylene. So that's what we realistically need. Cool. So you should be good to make all this stuff. The tin alloys are cool, right? Didn't I just teach you thin polyvinyl chloride sheet thingies? Oh, you're not called foils, that's why. Well, there's your problem. So you need some more polyvinyl chloride sheets. Right. So you were the extruder recipe. So we remove this dude. We put it in this one. We can get 16 of those, so we're missing some bars. I thought we had those. Didn't I just make a bunch of those? Oh, they're in here. Haha. And now we're cool? Yeah. So it doesn't use a lot of the bars to make this, but we totally have to set up this automation window, right? Because we're going to want to have a decent amount of polyvinyl chloride. So you know what that really means we're going to want a decent amount of? Oxygen. So 16 of you, 4 of you, 1 of you, right? Let's math this out just to be sure, but that should make 64 of those things. So I should just do that, and everything should go where it belongs. And that makes 16. So it's realistically 64 SMD transistor dudes. So I want to have all 64 so I can tell it you make 64 and then you're cool, right? And then you're going into the chest for the assembler, which, by the way, this is the last recipe that fits in that interface. So we're going to need another one of them soon, too. But now I should be cool to do blank patterns times 10. You just need... The other things we need to infrastructure-wise... Carbon dust? Really? When did that get switched up? Which guy needed carbon dust? Was it one of these SMD dudes? Yeah, because we needed the centrifuge, right? Yeah. So we have to get the centrifuge down there. Right? I don't think we have one of those already, right? I don't think so. Pretty sure we don't. So let's get a list of what we need to get, right? We need a centrifuge. And an advanced one would be cool. I'd also like... You know what I might want to do? Is it too soon to do an HV electrolyzer? Maybe? Maybe. Should we be able to do that? We could try it. I mean, I think we have most of the stuff we need. I just have to teach it how to make HV machine holes. But everything else should be craftable at this point. It's just a matter of getting HV power going. But an electrolyzer, I really think, is something we should do. And we should probably centralize. That's what we should use our storage things for. We should centralize our oxygen production, right? So we should get... Because a lot of things seem to need oxygen and hydrogen, right? So let's take you, right? And instead of voiding hydrogen, we'll make another 1K fluid cell. Okay. I think that should be doable. No, not that one. I want the 1K fluid cell, which we might have the stuff for. We do. And then we need the housing. You know what? Make another housing for me, because that was supposed to be for my 4K storage cells. That should be a quick and easy craft, though. I taught electrical steel between episodes. I've been trying to do some teaching between episodes so that I don't do a lot of the repeat stuff on camera, right? So yes, I've got a plan. So let's do this. Let's wrap up the episode here, right? We should have 2 4Ks that we're ready to turn into stuff there, right? You can go in here, and this is going to, for now, going to be oxygen and hydrogen. And what I'd like to do is get that thing that allows me to specify that. Like, you're only allowed to have pattern. Spatial I/O port? No, it's not the spatial I/O thing. Not the interface. Cell workbench? Probably that. Yeah, give me one of those dudes, right? And let me get a couple buckets. Hopefully the cell workbench works with this, with the fluid cells, right? But what we're going to do is snag some hydrogen and oxygen. We're going to go down to the cell workbench here. Yeah, you could probably just chill on the wall here, maybe? Yeah, about here. Cool. I'm going to snag these dudes, and you are going to... be hydrogen buckets? Okay, that looks like that's working. Included precise, right? So that should be cool, right? And then you can be oxygen buckets. Cool. I like that. So that means that these cells, one's going to store hydrogen, one's going to store oxygen, right? And then what I'm going to do is steal you for a minute, because we don't want to be voiding that stuff no more, right? And we're going to get the import bus. We might even wind up moving the electrolyzer, right? Because I need this to be on an HV line eventually, which shouldn't be too hard to get going. But that means we can get rid of the dire wire that's behind here, get this guy on an HV line, and start HV electrolyzing, which might be a lot of power, so we'll have to see, right? Because clearly electrolyzation is pretty power intensive in GregTech. In previous, like in Mechanism, it's not. In GregTech, it is. So some mods consider that a costly thing to do. Others do not. But let's get our Emmy import bus here, right? So you're making hydrogen and oxygen, right? So we're going to import bus you. And if everything's set up properly, then what we're going to want to do is get some cabling. Because I can't connect the conduit cable to the actual this dude, right? So we do that, and then your fluids start disappearing. And we should see that we have 2 buckets. Nice. Okay, 9 and 9. I don't know why that is the case, but you get the idea. It did the thing properly, right? We've got oxygen coming in, more oxygen, presumably. Oh, right. Yeah, so what we're going to probably want to eventually do is make it so that you don't extract. Let's make you a redstone signal for extracting, right? So that should be cool. And I just want to validate, if I take you, this should be oxygen. So we should have all 9 hydrogen in here right now, right? 4 hydrogen. Please don't tell me this didn't work, because I'm going to be grumpy direwolf. 4 hydrogen. Okay, no, that did work, right? So I take that out, and now we only have oxygen. Good. So it did work. It did work the way it was supposed to. Nice. All right, so we'll wrap up here. I'm going to upgrade the basic electrolyzer next episode. We'll centralize oxygen production, and then we'll distribute oxygen throughout the base via applied energistics so that we can get oxygen into things like the chemical reactor and anything else that's going to wind up needing it, which, based on what I can tell, it might actually be a lot of stuff that needs oxygen and hydrogen. So I'm hoping that I'm doing the right thing here, but we'll find out. I'm thinking we will, though. Can you not do that? Because that would be super cool. It would be super cool if I could put oxygen in there. You would think that would work, right? Why are you no working? Hydrogen bucket. GregTech Community Edition, GregTech Community Edition. Yeah, the fluid terminal's not ideal. Let's put it that way. For sure. We'll have to play. For now, guys, take it easy.